Okay, so I wanted to talk about freaking Trump. I know typical, probably a topic that so many people are talking about, but and I already talked about my theory about just Republicans or just freaking, I guess, the people who follow them in general and why they follow them. And yeah, it's seeming more like he's freaking Russian, a Russian spy or a Russian freaking agent or something with Russia, because what the stuff he does just does not add up to someone who wants to benefit America, or even in the desperate nature of it. It doesn't really make sense, in completely defending Russia now. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is, when I was in Hong Kong, of course, I was doing all that research with the gods and stuff like that, while waiting for stuff to train or whatever, with the job, during the free time. And there, it's also the video that I'm making, which is about the troll gods of history or whatever, the kind of funny stories or random stories of these different gods in history. And one thing I noticed, and I think basically what I wanted to say is the quotes, spiritual purpose of Trump in a way. And I'm not saying this as if he is a god, because obviously he's not. And obviously he's not even some special human or anything in any way. When I say special, I mean in the aspect of oh man, he's this chosen person of the gods and this is why he's doing this. No. I'm talking about in a general aspect that he is similar to many of these kind of troll gods or the chaos type gods. The more notable example is Loki, where basically almost Loki's purpose was to ruin everything in a way. He was the cause, the start, the reason for Ragnarok. And Ragnarok, for the people of the time or the gods of the time, it ruined everything. It ruined their way of life. It destroyed literally everything for them. And, they hated Loki for it, obviously. Well, I mean, I guess they have nothing to really say because they're all dead. But, Loki kind of ruined everything. But there was a golden thread, I don't know what you call that, a golden thread, I guess, of Loki's actions, which was he caused Ragnarok, but Ragnarok allowed rebirth in a way. For example, humans are, in that mythology, humans are a case of Ragnarok, our freedom or existence in a way, where we're not controlled by the gods, is because of Ragnarok. Because before, the humans were basically enslaved, they were useless, kind of almost in the similar way of cattle almost. And because of Ragnarok, we were freed from this that aspect. We were able to finally have our own existence in a way. And it was all because of Loki's trolling, and Loki was an outcome of the trolling of those gods in a way. So they kind of created their own Loki, and then them trying to stop this Ragnarok from happening, create Ragnarok, because I guess it pissed off Loki even more, with the whole wolves and, killing of his daughter, blah, 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 blah type stuff. So, in a way, to bring this all back, I started thinking, in a way, is Trump is in that same way. Where America was on top. All these other nations had to bow down to America, and we basically bullied them in a lot of ways because we wanted to benefit ourselves. We wanted the oil, we wanted the technology, we wanted the workers, we wanted the blah, 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 blah. So we took advantage of other countries because we were on top, because, we had the military power, we had the economic power, we had the technological power. And then because of that kind of hubris, we kind of created our own destruction. Because after a while, we got so used to the power, so now we're oh, you know what? We can make more and more money. More and more money, we can create more and more power. So we start taking advantage of our own citizens. We start taking advantage of, other countries even to a even greater extent, like giving them, we don't even want to pay our own citizens. We want cheaper labor. We want cheaper labor in China and blah, blah, blah. So we start, in a way, systematically and slowly destroying our own country, taking away the things that made us great. So because of that, other countries started becoming a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And slowly we started realizing, oh crap, we created our own destruction. So then people like Trump started becoming more popular because, like, say, the people who were in those certain cities where, say, the coal mines were or the manufacturing were, they're pissed. They're like, our whole way of life was destroyed. We need something to, basically take revenge for us. And Trump became that person. So because of that, they put Trump in because, they're seeing the world changing too fast in a way. They got a black president. Like, how far has America fallen? So they put Trump in charge. Trump starts destroying everything, He starts creating America's Ragnarok, putting the pieces in place. And now, finally, supposedly, Ragnarok has come. And what I wonder is that, it's going to suck. I'm definitely not going to like this because, I'm struggling to find a job. Like, luckily, I'm not I don't have any official, things I have to take care of. I'm not paying for a house. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife, So, me not having a job is more of a pride and embarrassment type thing. But it's still going to suck. But throughout that sucking, though, because I wonder if it's similar to the Loki thing or many other troll gods, because it's not just Loki. There's other ones, but this podcast is not about me talking about all the different examples. After all the chaos comes rebirth usually, and that rebirth allows change in a good way that benefits. So, in a way, say for example, because of America's trolling, China, for example, showing, we could do the same exact stuff and do it cheaper. So now they're rewriting the rules of how, say, capitalism type of works. Where it's we don't have to completely, or at least for competitive reasons, because maybe they want to, but they still have to stay competitive. They're like, we can do stuff cheaper and still have stuff be just as good. Say this competition created China to do stuff way cheaper and better in a way, because say Google and Apple, if it weren't for this entire capitulation, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, whatever, would just be on top and there'd be nothing you can do because they just buy out the competition and they they pay all the workers, at least back then, they got all the talent and they have all the patents and everything. So there was no way to put your foot in the door because as another business, because, they were just too dominant. But now that thing has been rippled. There's been a ripple now. So now money is moving out of these companies. Now smaller companies can come into the realm, or say smaller countries can come into the realm. And then not only that, but for example, America has always been pretty racist. Maybe the average white person would not kind of know how bad it was or is, but America's always been pretty bad for other races. And now Trump is showing just how racist some of these politicians or people are. We're to the point where they are literally trying to bring back Nazism. So it's got to that point, now it's in your face. All this stuff is in your face. Ragnarok has come, where America is, it's shown that America is declining in a way. It's shown that, America is not this, sanctuary or beautiful, wonderful place that we tried to make it seem out to be. So, it makes me wonder, after the dust has settled, after the fires have finished and it's just ash, will there be rebirth? Will it be like a phoenix where things will be, in a way, way, way better because of it? Globally, or even say in America itself, will it be better? Because, like, say, for example, I'm not, like, I am trying to manifest it, but, like, let's say me. I see how these businesses are now. Like, how douchebaggy, how money hungry, how much they don't care about anyone except their top dollar and their stockholders. So when I make a business, I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't want to be like freaking Elon Musk. Like, and then other people will also look out for those things. Like, oh, we don't want to support companies or see these people who are already starting to show the personality traits of these people who were in the past. So we were not going to support them because now we see what can happen. It's the same way like what happened with World War II and stuff like that. Like where you see like people presumably saw like what Nazi Germany and Italy and Japan did. And they're like, we got to make sure that never happens again. So if we see signs of it, that was supposed to happen. When we see signs of it, we're not going to let that happen, or we're not going to support it because we know what can happen if these type of people continue. So it makes me wonder, like, basically the ashes, blah, 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 blah. This kind of cycle of rebirth. In the same way it happened with World War II. Now I'm going to bring up World War II. Say England used to be a top dog. England used to be the top dog. And then World War II happened. I mean, that sucks. Don't get me wrong. That sucked. But it was a capitulation of, basically Europe's insanity kind of thing with Germany and blah, 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 blah. Because World War I happened, then World War II happened. So this whole capitulation of everything, which allowed another nation to finally get its spot in the spotlight, which was America, because we were so far away from all that crap. So then we got our time in the spotlight, but then we also capitulated. So now I guess next, maybe some China, maybe some India, maybe it could be globally. Who knows? Because it seems like the EU at least is not retarded like America is right now. So, they're trying to like even saying, ooh, this is like America's not looking like a preferable situation right now. So, yeah. So I wonder what will happen through the ashes, because I don't want to, another thing I want to note, just for the future historians out there, I do not give up on America though. Like, because like, even though, I agree, China's probably going to be on top, or one of the people on top at least. But the thing that I find special about America is that we're not ethnically secular. We are a nation who, just by circumstance, I guess, was built relatively newly. So we don't have any historical president. We don't have any like ethnic, like, yeah, it's a majority white, but we're not like a ethnically or historically made nation. Like, we're new. So like, yeah, we can point back to like, oh yeah, America used to be great in the 80s, or like, oh yeah, my father fought in World War I. I'm so proud of that. But like, we're not like, say, how China is. Like, their entire nation's history, 99.999% or whatever, is China. India, 99.999% is India. Same with Europe, Sweden, Germany. I mean, yeah, there's like, if you ignore like the immigration kind of stuff, but still, like, like their nation was built by these people already for centuries and centuries. Like, they have a whole history. So because of that, naturally, they are going to prefer, say, the German way of thinking, or say the Indian way of thinking, or the Chinese way of thinking, or the Chinese ethnicity, or whatever. Like, they will always have that just naturally, because it was already built like for centuries. That ethnical history has been intact, which is a good thing. Like, I support culture. Don't get me wrong. I am a full supporter of different cultures. And I think that's why, in a way, I agree with certain things where they're like, we have to keep a cultural purity, which I agree with. I think it's bad to delete, your history, or delete cultures, that which makes the world unique. However, I wouldn't want a nation like that to rule, to be the top dog because of that cultural ethnicity or like history. Meanwhile, America is, like I said, is new. So there is a chance where this is the one spot, one of the, I guess maybe South America is similar, I guess, in a way, but not really. But like, America's one of those only nations where diversity is just part of the nature. It's just natural. It's just a natural part. Like, all our holidays are specifically like official type of holidays. There's no kind of ethnic holidays, but everyone knows a little bit. Like some people are excited for Chinese New Year. Some people are excited for whatever, Molly or Holly, whatever it's called, but the dust, the Indian one. People know about Kwanzaa. People know about Christmas. People know about whatever the freaking, I forgot what the Jewish one is called. But people, like, because of that, because there's so much diversity in this one little nation, I guess Canada could be similar, but it's Canada, so I'm talking about America. That's why I think America has this potential, this greatness in a way. But it can't happen right now. I'll admit that there's a cooling off period because basically Trump has shown there needs to be a Ragnarok. There needs to be a rebirth. So after Trump, like after the mistakes of Trump, because there's nothing good that's going to happen from this. Nothing like it's good's going to happen from the rebuilding afterwards. But the during, it's going to suck. It is going to suck. But afterwards, that's when it's going to be good. So in a way, as much as it's going to suck, I think Trump has to happen. Everything that he plans to do, or Elon Musk plans to do, the Republicans plan to do, the Democrats just ignoring everything, like, we're going to point out stuff. It's like, okay, who cares about you pointing out? You're the legislative branch. Pointing out is the purpose of the press. You're not the press. You're literally the ones making the law. So why the heck is your only purpose? It's like, notice how I'm pointing this out? I don't care that you're pointing it out. And yeah, I'm talking about Bernie Sanders. I'm talking about the AOC girl. I'm talking about everyone in the Democratic Party. Useless. But anyway, after all this collapses, moral of the story, greatness will happen. And other people will get their chance. The humans will rise after Ragnarok. That's basically the main point I wanted to make. That's about it. Listen up.